Let's get servicing. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Sony SL-C6UB. It's a Mark II, so it's the sort of dark cabinet one as opposed to the silver, more classic, if you like, Mark I silver cabinets. Came out about the same time. You just had two different options, really, of the style of machine. Although the electronics was fairly unique to each, actually. There's some, obviously, a lot of shared circuitry, but yeah, swapping boards can be quite interesting. Anyway, this one is for Kevin, and a bit of a long story, which I won't show in full here because it's a very long story. But yeah, basically, this is for his collection. Bought from eBay. Yeah, we'll service it, refurb it, change the belts and the idler tires. We'll also have a look at the servo side of it. It's supposed to be very tidy, and fair play on the pictures, it did look in pretty good condition, so we'll see. I've not looked at it since it arrived, so I have no idea what condition it's actually in and whether it survived the journey. Wrapping wise, it was sent in this box and just wrapped, bit of tape across the top, and just wrapped in black on plastic, basically plastic wrap, which is every delivery driver's love. So yeah, we've got the plug there, which will have to go, but yeah. So what drew us both to this is it does actually still have the original plastic inserts, although it hasn't got anything else, but that's fine. It does make a difference having the original plastic inserts and the box. It just makes it a lot more liable to arrive in one piece, and this is actually very tidy. The polystyrene seems to have not suffered at all from its 40 odd years. So lift this out. So a handle that's fallen out, so press that back in. Yeah, the box is a bit ripped, that's fine. And there it is. So it is actually pretty tidy. I think the first thing I'm going to do, obviously I need to change this plug because it's terrible. It's bowing as well. So let's just open it up. 5 amp fuse in there. Don't know quite why it's sort of bowing out like that at the top, but yeah, I'll get this changed and we'll crack on. That's looking good, all sorted. Let's get the top back on that, and I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually give it a clean. So just clean it up a bit. I actually found it's quite good, so and a little less liable to take print off, although Sony seem to be fine anyway. But yeah, so I'll give it a clean, and only a quick clean, and take it from there. So it's looking a bit better, not perfect, but it's just nice to sort of put your hands on now rather than get covered in gook. So let's have a look inside. So it does have a little bit of a smell of, I think, what I describe as a wood burner, maybe. So I need a jolly good clean out, which I think I might do next. That needs to go. So yeah, we'll replace that. Yeah, you can see just a little bit of smoke contamination, nothing too bad. Let's use the right screwdriver. Belts all look actually not too bad. We might actually be able to try it with the existing belts. There's a bit of hardened grease, but yeah, overall not bad at all. So yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is quite a bit of dust in more this side of it, which is obviously where the vents are. So I think what I'm going to do is, well, let's lift this board. Little slider there. Yeah, definitely coal fire, I think. Smells like. And oh, there's another screw. Thought there was a crack then by it, but there isn't. Yes, actually, really very tidy, very tidy. So a good blowout with some air, I think, will do the trick. There's a huge amount of dust floating about, but it's actually not bad at all. So yeah, but yeah, very, very tidy machine. And how's the drum looking? There's a fair bit of wear on there. Yeah, quite a lot of wear to be honest. But okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, so let's get it blown out, and then we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Right, so let's give it a test. I took the bottom cover off as well. You probably see it over there. And gave that a good dust out, so should be good to go. There we go. Always takes a few seconds for it to just sort of start up, boot. And we have no power. Which suggests the SDK is probably fried. Ah, that's a shame. I don't know whether I've got another one of those here. Huh. Okay, well, that's a bit of a disappointment. I was sort of hoping it might at least power on and we'd have supply voltages. So, wish I hadn't put that port back in now. But yeah, that's definitely not going to start up. So I suppose I better see what I can find and or order a new SDK chip. Okay, so I've ordered a couple of STK 5314s from Nico Electronics via eBay. But, I mean, the telltale that the regulator is gone is when you turn it on, you get channel indicators light up. You don't get the standby light come on green. Now, this is different to the Mark 1. Mark 2, the power supply, even though it looks very, very similar, is completely different. And I haven't got a manual for it. I've got a manual for Mark 1, so I can work it out bits and pieces. But the 12 volt regulated, basically, I mean, the SDK is the same on the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. So following it through from pin 4, I think it is, on the SDK, the line emblem, which is, I believe, pin 4. It's not a connector, but think of it as a connector. So pin 10 is up here, pin 1 is here, pin 4, line going along the cable. It's actually 2 that do that, but it's this first loom. That should be 12 volts when we power it on. And we've got 0.56. So yeah, it's that tiny bit. I suppose we ought to check. We have actually got an ever 12 volts. So the ever 12 volts RF booster. So we should have a 3-pin connector. I wonder if that's it there. It's actually 2-pin on this one. So ever. Yeah, so we've got 12 volts on pin 1 of the ever connection to the RF, because obviously the RF modulator and loop through is always powered all the time the machine's on. So we've got 12 volts in, but we haven't got 12 volts out when we turn the machine on from standby. So got to wait for that part to arrive, and then we should be able to hopefully give it a test. I was very tempted to do the belts and the idlers and everything, and even do the servo while I'm waiting for that chip to arrive. But I just thought, well, I suppose I could put 12 volts on the ever on the switched, but no, I'm just going to wait for the regulator to arrive. We'll give it a test, see how bad it is, and then we'll service it, do the servo caps if they need doing, and do, which I'm pretty sure they do, and also do the belts and the idlers. So yeah, let's crack on. So a few days on, and I have new replacement chips. I actually bought 2 because well, I like to keep one in stock, and chances are I will get another machine in that will need one. So these things seem to come in 2s. Like I say, these are from Nico off eBay. They seem to supply good components, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Probably will put some heatsink compound on there as well. But yeah, let's get this one off. Yeah, there's a bit of heatsink compound on there actually, interestingly. So I'll clean that off and put some fresh on. Nice and tidy, excellent. So I'll clean this up and probably just rub it down a little bit as well, so it's really smooth. There's a little bit of a grain to this, as you can probably see. So I'll rub this down, and yeah, we should be good to go. Let's crack on. Okay, so I've made that nice and shiny. don't know quite what's happened there. It's like the shapeproof washer or something's got squashed in there at some point. But yeah, it's really shiny now. So let's put that on. Super. And I've got a bit of a tangle going on there. So also give good opportunity to give this a good clean. Clean as we go along. Okay, that's good. Mount this back in and put the 2 screws in. And then we'll give it a go, see what happens. Okay, well, I suppose we ought to give it a try. So far so good. That's not a great start. So it's actually acting like there's a cassette in there. What happens if I try and, well, let's eject it and do it by hand. So it's running the worm gear or helical gear. Okay, well, they were a bit stuck. Let's see if it does it again. No, it didn't. Okay, that's a start. It's a good start. So yeah, obviously needs a service, but it runs. It seems to be a bit of a noisy. Yeah, it's barely. Barely rewinding, but high torque, I suppose. Yeah, motor seems a bit noisy. Oh dear. So let me just start capturing. So usual servo issues. Oh. Yeah, so you can hear the heads hunting. Let's press pause. Well, that's actually not bad. I'm a little bit concerned we might have a colour issue. But we probably won't find that out really until we get the servo sorted, because obviously it's all over the place. Yeah, interesting. So But it looks like the heads are okay. Where's the tracking on the left hand side on these? Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to need the servo caps done. Obviously, we're going to have to service it as well. All the rubber's done. So, yeah, let's see. Seems to be okay. It's putting the tape in. I'll say that. Look what was going on there. Oh, it is coming out. Yeah, I'd say there's something wrong somewhere with either the alignment of the switches or something isn't quite right there, or the switch just isn't working. But tape down's fine. It's just the eject. And there we go. So let's turn it on again. Yeah, it's not I don't know whether that's slightly out of alignment or something. It's obviously something not quite right with the front loading system. That's the record, isn't it? And then record inhibit, and then that's the tape in. Yeah, it's just odd that it's not. I thought it was supposed to, if there was nothing in there, didn't detect the tape, that it would eject. I just can't remember, to be honest. Can't remember what the fault condition is. But yeah, because that triggers on when it's reached the end of the travel, I think. It's just that, yeah, that there, that flat hits that on once it's ejected. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to clean up all this grease as well. It's pretty horrible, but yeah, okay, well, first things first, I suppose, is sort the servo out. Then we'll do the belts. We'll do the belts underneath while we're there. It's quite dusty. Then obviously we'll have to take the front loading system off anyway to check that, to do the belts and the idlers and everything underneath. Then we can check this, and then hopefully we'll have a working machine. So let's crack on. So let's get these Sanyo caps changed. So I've got quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's about it. I seem to remember there's another one somewhere. 9 so far. I'm also going to change this one. I'm sure it's fine. I think it's 470 at 16 volt. But the modern equivalent is that big, and that will actually fit quite nicely underneath. So yeah, I'll get those changed anyway, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. So this is an interesting one. That 470 microfarad capacitor I've just removed, 16 volts. So obviously it's an electrolytic, so it's polarized, and the print suggests it isn't. So normally you'd get like the dot, the positive, and the circle legend on the silk screen, and there's nothing. It's just a standard like capacitor like that. Well, I say that. Look at that. can't really look at that one. So like that. Yeah, that's interesting as well, the choice of capacitor. Sony do weird things with their caps, don't they? But yeah, anyway, I know the polarization because I've not straightened the legs out. So the negative is on this side. So yeah, that's fine. So I'll get that fitted and the rest, and take it from there. It's all done, and oh, I missed one. Oh. So now it's all done. Can't believe I missed that one. I don't know quite what happened, but I started to unsolder it and then didn't change it. So yeah, that's why you check your work. But yeah, all done. So let's get this clipped back in place. I won't put the screws in just yet, and we'll do the belts. Okay, first job, let's get the front panel off, and we've got the little metal clamps as well. It's always good to see. So on all three. So it's pretty grubby. I'll give that a good clean in the fullness of time. And display is pretty grubby as well. And nothing too bad. You can now get to this to get it back into eject. Yeah, you can get to it quite easily with the top tuner panel out, but once that's in, it makes it a bit trickier. It's quite interesting. I've spotted one of those before, but anyway, that's cool. The counter needs a bit of a clean. Well, everything needs a clean, really. Okay, so magic. So we ought to change some belts. We need to sort out, there was some buzzing going on here. Yeah, belts are really quite bad. You actually see how bad that is. Look at that. Amazing it works at all. And give it a bit of a clean through. Upper drum is fairly shiny, especially around this side. So that will need to come off. And pinch roller is excellent, actually. Seems very, very good. Needs a good clean though. So yeah, I suppose we ought to get changing some belts. Let's crack on. Now, screw on the side. And got idler tyre there, and we're going to take this apart, haven't we? Yeah, I'm going to lift that up. So I've forgotten. So screw at the back, I seem to remember. I don't think you have to take it right out. And this one you do. So just put that down. So yeah, that belt is pretty well had it. And that belt, and then counter belt. And we do have a tyre for the take up. So take that off as well. And I am tempted to remove the spool as well. Some grease got on there somehow. Give it a wiggle so I don't. Yeah, there we go. Don't take the washers with it. So yeah, I'll give that a clean. When I do the, I might as well do the take up the supply as well. This should just unclip. So it just unclips from the post. And I'll just clean the dust out from behind there as well. Yeah, all the washers are dropped. Super. So then we've got this idler tyre. And that, I think, is it. Now I do want to clean off majority of this grease, old grease. I'm going to put some fresh grease on. Clean up sort of scummy bits from the grease, to be honest. So I'll do all of that. I'll lube these up, so I use silicone for that. It's a light bit of silicone to clean all of these up. And I'm not going to worry too much about these, I don't think. It's a bit noisy, but I probably will just lubricate these. Yeah, that's fine. It seems to be very stiff, but it actually isn't. So yeah, I'll get cleaning, and then we'll put the new belts on. Okay, so I've had a pretty good clean up and lubed everything up. Let's see that bit of hair there. There we go. Yeah, that's still noisy. Let's put a tiny bit of grease in the middle of it. It's better. And clip, which I've managed to drop down there. See a bit of grease that's got in there. Should rather get out. It's not too bad. Okay, so now I did also take out the lacing gear assembly, because all of the gears were just really just terrible. So let's get that back. So see there, the notch in the assembly focus goes there. Then you've got a screw. Assembly. Oh, sorry, say assembly. Screw. Can I get that round? There. So screw there, and then the alignment screw goes, not easy to film, goes through there, and just tension that up. So yeah, I'll get and do that next. Super, so that's looking pretty good. Try to remember where the belts go now. No, I'm going to clean the spools. So let me just clean the spools. Oh, actually, let's do the belts first, because you can see then how I mess this up. I mean, how I get these done. Okay, so let's get these belts back on, or the new belts on. So that one goes there. I just had to confirm which belt went where, because there's a couple in the kit. I don't know whether I've got an extra belt. Yeah, that clutch is good. But anyway, we'll see. Then this one, I had to slacken off this, of course. Forgotten about that. So and try and get that into the right position, which it is. Still quite grubby on the top of there. Even though I cleaned it. But anyway. And tighten up the screw. At the front, and I'll just loosely do up the one at the back. Just the one that tensions it. In fact, we can probably move that. It's a bit tight. So you want it just properly to mesh. It's looking fairly good, I think. I can fine tune that. So tighten up the back one, and then tighten up the front one. That's properly located there. Lovely. Then spools. So I'll just show you how those two top belts go. So first belt goes on to the play idler. There, is it wobbling about? Because it's on an arm, and that's actually got a clutch on it, so it offers slip. And that goes onto the bottom there, so not right at the bottom, because that's where the clutch is, just under this pulley. Bit difficult to see even with it off. And then this belt goes under there. Lift this up to get it onto here. This is for the lacing and unlacing. So we need to put the tire on there. In fact, let's do that. Super. So that's that. Then, oh, I'm saying that. No, it's not. That's the one that came off there. This is for the idler. I thought it looked a bit chunky. So that one goes on there, which is can be tricky to do because it's on an arm. I usually take these off, which I might have to do. So, well, yeah, we'll do that in a minute. So there we go. That's on there. And then obviously screw that back on. I need to give that a good clean before I do that. Right, idler. Can be a bit of a fiddle, this. It's easy to get off and can be a bit tricky to put back on. So let's circle out the way. Then, so idler, tyre. go. I'll just give that a bit of a clean. Actually tempted to put it on upside down because it's exactly the same both ways, so let's make sure that is sitting properly. Goes on there. And I don't know whether that's quite right still. Yeah, it seems okay now, I think. Soon find out. Just to my mind, I'm getting lots of hairs. I think the bristles from the paintbrush. Oh. That was clever. Oh. Flat blade screwdriver. Let's try that. Oh, is it? No, not quite. It's just tricky to get on. Oh, it snapped back off. Because you don't have an awful lot of space. You sort of have to slide the screwdriver blade over the plastic of the pulley. I think we're okay. I don't think I've bent that. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's making good contact. So I'm just eyeballing it to make sure that it's parallel to this. I haven't actually cleaned that, although it's actually looking pretty okay. But I will clean it. This is, I've probably put grease for my fingers on it. Yeah, it's actually cleaning up quite nicely. Super. Okay, I think that looks about good. So, take up reel, tyre. I've cleaned that, honest. Doesn't look it. Doesn't look it in the light. That's looking good. So pull this back. It's all been lubricated, so just push the brake out of the way. It's probably not a bad idea to pull that back, to be honest, but yeah, it pops on fine. Then got the supply reel, which I also have not cleaned. Okay, so that's come up really nice actually. And I've made sure I've kept all the spacer washers in the right order for the right spools, because let's pull that brake back, because they are critical. And like to clean off the back tension a little bit. Look, that braking it even better. I'm going to get it much better than that, to be fair. I don't want to change its characteristics. I mean, I'll stick the gauge on it, and we can adjust out anything that sort of I've done. So press that back on. So rather than pull it, press it, because you don't want to bend anything. Now in the kit they don't give you the counterbelt. It actually doesn't feel too bad. Nah, I'm going to be changing that. I'm sure I've got one of these, so yeah, I'll sort that. I'll find one somewhere. I still have an idler tire. Not sure where that goes. Yeah, so I'm going to put this back on once I've cleaned it. So that just goes back on there, and then we'll have a look under the deck. Let's crack on. Right, so let's drop this back panel. I need to take that off. So let's add some soldering around the rear sockets. Which is a bit interesting. Oh, there's a screw missing now. Or did I take the screws out? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Don't remember taking the screws out. I have to look back to my footage, but yeah, there's only one screw holding all this on. The other two are missing. Which is interesting. Probably a past. It's fairly dust free as well. Past belt change. Yes, so of course. Capstan. So yeah, let's get this one off. Oh, and then there's that one there, of course. Yes, I remember now. There's a way I used to do these. I can't remember what that way was. Oh, is it, yeah, I'd like to clean this up actually, before I do anything else. Is it that I just put it on the bottom and pull it up over the top, over the motor pulley? They're the same. Pretty much the same. Well, one is terrible. Yeah, I'm just confused because I've got 3 belts, and surely that one isn't going to be used. It's probably for making a decision then of which belt you want to use. So I was going to do it this way, wasn't I? Put that there. And then, yeah, that's fine. As long as you can find the screws. I'm just a bit concerned that board doesn't look right. It's like it's gonna drift a bit. Oh, I see, there is actually a bit of plastic there, so that is right. Done it again. I always do this. I get the wire routed the wrong way. And there's a way to do it, and I can't remember the way to do it. Oh, yes. Yes. It's obviously been changed before, because let's just unplug it, because it was routed randomly. Does that now fit? Yeah, you see that fits better now. Always do that every time. I never learn. Always forget about that connector and wire. I think it's because I see that one, I think, oh, that's all there is. But yeah, obviously no. Still doesn't look quite right, you know. One panel just getting, PCB just getting pushed. I think it comes around this side of the motor. I don't know whether it was there, I can't remember now. But that's much tidier than this one. It's a little bit grubby, but it's the actual where the belt's going is clean, so that's fine. Belt's not crossed. Then Capstan, which I can't see properly because the light. Looks tight. Yeah, that's really very tired. Feels like it's going to snap actually if I pull that too tight. Let's get a bit of nice proper. I'll just clean. What it's worth, they're both very clean, to be honest. No melting belts here, which is quite nice actually. Doesn't seem to want to come. I'm going to have to take it right the way out. There's quite a bit of grease there, so I'm going to have to clean that off, I think. Yeah, so let's clean that off. I'm going to put some graphite grease on there, I think. Cleaned off the belt. I've always managed to do this before without getting grease on the belt. So it is almost like it's been re-greased. Super. So yeah, I'll put some graphite grease in there and put this back together, and we should be good. There's a pickup there, all effect. Yeah, lovely. So yeah, I'll get that done. Super, so the belts are done. I'm going to brush all this off and give it a vacuum out and everything else, and then find those screws as well, because I'm pretty sure they were missing. Don't remember taking those two out. So yeah, I'll get and do that, and then I suppose we can give it a test. Oh no, we need to sort out the front loading system, don't we? That'll be next. Let's crack on. So I've vacuumed out the machine. I'll show you that in a minute. But the front, it's a weird machine this, because quite a lot of areas of it are dust free, and other areas were really dusty. You can still see, you know, I've brushed this off, but you can still see remnants of dust, which I'll wipe off with a damp cloth. But what I'm going to do, you can probably see how mucky the window is. I'm actually going to take the whole window out, and basically there's little clips, and I've already pushed these out. I'm not going to push them back in to demonstrate there, because I don't know how good these clips are. Oh, that one might, I think that one's clipped back in. Just pull the clip back, and that has freed up. And then there's one under here, so pull the clip back and then push the plastic. I might need a bit of a helping hand because it's a bit tight. So I'm just pushing the clear plastic. Can't really show you that well. There we go. And then that should just push out. And I don't think anything will fall out, because everything else is sort of mounted on the back. So I'm also going to do the channel indicators. So pull that back, then press on the plastic, and that one's actually trying to come out all by itself because of the angle in which it can move. There we go. So I can clean those up, get the scratches out, use the Servo trick, and there we go. You can just see how much dust has got in there. So it's just a bit weird, the sort of where the dust has got and where it hasn't got. And it's filthy under there. I wasn't going to remove that. I'm glad I did now. So yeah, I'll get some foam cleanser. The numbers are not removable, so I probably don't want to get foam spray. Oh, I think I'm okay actually if I do that. Using this Pro Power from Farnell, which seems to be very good. Seems to be better than the Servo stuff in many ways, because it just doesn't seem to cause issues with plastics in the same way. I mean, Sony stuff's pretty good, but I haven't tried it on a Panasonic yet, which will be the test, I suppose, because Servo takes off all the print, all the legend. So let's clean all this up. And what I'll do is I'll just get a cotton wool bud and just carefully clean all the gaps. And make it so it's nice and shiny. And I'll probably use some silicone base spray as well, just to really make it shine. So I'll get and do that, and we'll crack on with the deck. A somewhat crude sort of way to put it has sprung to mind, but it's actually come out pretty well. You know, I mean, with that's a bright light that's on that, and yeah, you can see the fine scratches still in it, but it's a lot better than it was. And I think once it's on the machine, it'll look really good. So it's cleaned up pretty well. Something weird happening with the stop eject button there. It's I mean, it should be black in there anyway, but it was full of like muck and or grease, like greasy fingers or something, I don't know, and it sort of slightly rotted the sort of finish on the button. So I sort of tried to carefully clean it off. A little bit of a mark there and there as well, but yeah, it's all good. I still managed to miss some dust. So yeah, let's just get that. It's quite difficult to get in that corner. Oh, and there's some there as well. There we go. It's looking a bit better. So like I say, it's a weird machine. It's really mucky in some places and perfect in others. So yeah, so let's put that out the way now. And yes, next job. I was going to do the front loading system next, but I've actually decided to do the drum, just because I got this far. I was intrigued because there's quite a bit of wear on that upper drum, but it looks like it's had new heads at some point. So what I'm going to do is I've already marked, so you can quite see the solder is slightly brighter on the wires for the heads. They'd be very nicely fitted, I have to say, but you can see that's not original Sony. So I've already marked the drum because it's got 2 Allen screws. You've got to mark the drum to try and get this as true as possible. I think I've actually got the kit to align this. I seem to remember I even used it on a previous video. I can't remember, in the Sony case, but yeah, I'm happy to do it by just aligning up the scratch marks. So yeah, let's get that upper drum off and get it resurfaced. Yeah, so with the camera zoomed in, you can actually see just how much wear there is, and there's a fair bit on the erase head as well by the looks of it. But that's fine, we can sort all that out. I'll turn these guides round without adjusting them as well, so they haven't got shiny material there. I can just turn these round. Yeah, so the heads look pretty grubby as well, to be fair. But that's fine. Nothing a good clean won't sort. So let's get this upper drum off. Okay, so and the length you need of Allen key. There we go. So I'm just using a hex driver just to free it, but the length you need, you can't use the long arm to pull it out very easily, so I just find this way is easier. Oh, God, that was actually quite tight. Well, they both were. And you never know, I might be able to take these out without dropping them. And obviously on these, because it's a full-blown disc, yeah, it's a genuine Sony head disc. I'm sure that's been replaced. Not sure how the numbering goes. 88614. So 14th of June 88, maybe. The genuine Sony, so that's encouraging. But sort of explains a lot, really, that this upper drum is just so worn. Actually doesn't look. Oh yeah, of course it's on where the tape goes. I'm thinking of the later disc type rather than the drum type. So yeah, it's pretty worn. So okay, I'm going to resurface this. I have shown it a few times before. I've done a dedicated video on how I do it. I'm going to use Servo rather than Brasso though, to see how that cleans it up. But yeah, I'll get and do that, and we'll crack on. Well, that's looking a lot better. That's pretty perfect. The Servo seemed to do a really good job as well. Lifted off all the rubbish, and was very easy to just wipe off the residue. So yeah, really pleased with that. I do need to put some isopropyl on it as well, which I haven't done. Nearly forgot about that, but yeah, I'll do that. Then we'll reassemble it, and those heads are definitely new. Look at that. It's just, yeah, great. No wonder the picture looks so good, even though it was shaky. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I've put the guides on, and let's just get these started, see if I can do this without knocking. I'll do this one first, just because that's the more difficult one to get into position. It falls out. The other one just falls on top of the, well, you'd like to think would fall on top of the said, oh, I can't quite twist that round enough. There we go. And then a couple of turns, and then line up the marks. It's looking pretty good. The one mark I put in wasn't actually that great, but the other one is perfect for just lining it up, and I can see where I'm going. Oh, shifted that slightly. Super. And I'll use the same trick just to give it that extra turn. There we go. Fantastic. So that's that done. So I did also clean the fan. So that's actually been properly washed, and I even potched this end a bit, I know. But used a bit of Brasso for that. And make sure I'm not touching the heads as I wind this on, and I don't slide and damage the chip. Magic. So that's great. Okay, so I'll need to give the tape path a clean in the fullness of time, but I did just give the upper drum a clean with isopropyl just prior to putting it in, so that's all good. This is one less thing to think about. So the next thing, I guess, is doing the front loading system to see what it's like. Let's crack on. So let's power it on and, well, have a look at this front loading system. So okay, so far so good. Okay, and oh, I haven't put the, I must put that counter belt on, but I haven't screwed this in yet because I need to investigate this, so that's fine. I meant to do that, honest. Okay, so, so we're on. So using my blank, grease is the word, tape. Okay, so that's sounding good. Yeah, that's looking fine. Yeah, it's so obviously I'm holding this down. Play, and it should cut out. Yes, it does. Now eject. Now I had a look at the front loading system, And I've never had one of these go bad, to be honest, other than when they've been forcibly broken. They're generally reliable in everyday use. So I did have a look around, and the only thing I can find is the switch down there, which is the switch that tells it that it's at the end of its unload. Seems to be dodgy, and I think it's bent. So if I just, I can do it. I can quite get to it. I don't know whether that's enough. Yeah, that ejects. So it's slightly bent. So I think it momentarily does break, but then it's sort of making contact again. So yeah, let's just whip this out again. Let's take this off, and yeah, just spotted that it's not straight here, and it's sort of, so that's now energized or short. So let's just wind this in. Oh no, I think it's just constantly connected. So basically it's the tape eject end is not being sensed, or it's constantly there, so it thinks it's ejected when it hasn't. Oh, you can hear that. I'll just push this a bit further. So I need to straighten this and get it working again. I certainly haven't got one of these. But yeah, I think if I straighten it, it'll be good to go. So I'll have a go at that and see how we get on. So I found a new counterbelt, and I've actually taken it from this Toshiba V5480 belt kit. I got quite a lot of these ages ago, going very cheap, a couple of quid, and it's before you could sort of get belts quite as easy as you can now, which, you know, there's quite a few companies doing them now, which is great. But yeah, I think that'll be perfect. So I'll get that fitted, and then we'll move on to the front loading system. We do have issues. So the problem with the front loading system actually turned out to be the little micro switch, and it is actually exactly the same as the one for the tape down, cassette down, but and that one also does look bent, but it isn't. That is actually correct, although it should be maybe a little bit flatter, but it's fine, it works. This one, the spring itself was distorted, and you can see that it's got a very fine crack in it actually, and the switch itself, though, you actually see that where that spring locates, so the spring goes between this point and this point, the actual piece of copper is actually bent actually inside the switch. I mean, obviously I've taken the backing off it, but yeah, it's quite bent, and that's why it's basically constantly pretty much making a contact. So yeah, it would tell the when you press eject, it would literally activate almost straight away and tell the front loading system it had ejected the cassette when actually it hadn't. It was still down in the machine. So these have long since gone unavailable. I couldn't really find anything similar apart from this one. Now these micro switches, I actually use these for the tape unlacing end sense on the Sony 711B decks, and where they're fitted, and basically you just take off the metal lever, leave it with the actual actuator, and they're a direct fit as long as you trim off the legs a bit, because this goes up against the head drum. So I've got a couple of these left, and it just so happens that they actually fit pretty well in here. I'm going to have to find some way of stopping this from spinning around. I mean, I can do the screw up quite tight and there's not much pressure there, but I would be happier if this wasn't going to, or there wasn't any risk of this moving. And I need to extend the lever just a tiny bit more. So my thinking with that is to find something solid to sort of add to the end of this, and to use a bit of heat shrink just to sort of stop it from well, fix it, basically glue it. So I'll do that because it doesn't actually have to travel that far, so I've got plenty of room. So I'll get on with that, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so let's give this a try. I've not greased the front loading system or anything up yet, and not actually fully fixed the switch. It's held with the screw, but it needs something else to stop it from moving over time. But it does, the front loading system needs to be in so it can properly release the cassette. So let's give it a try. Super. Perfect. So I'll take it back out, give it a grease, and glue the switch, and then screw it on. Probably put some alignment marks around it as well. I'm probably going to use araldite, just because that'll was a lot slower setting, and yeah, we should be somewhere near ready to actually play a cassette on it. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's give it a test. All back together, so hopefully we should be all right. And power on. I'm just going to wind this on a bit because I had to do a little bit of damage to the cassette because I was silly. Right, well, let's just start capturing. So we've still got fast Capstan. I think it's just fast Capstan. And possibly quite worn heads. We've got a little bit of hunting on the head motor as well. I wonder, because this has been worked on, whether the servo was readjusted to compensate for those capacitors going on the way out, and that's why we've got problems. So okay, let's tip the machine up and see if we can adjust it out. Okay, so I've adjusted the drum freeze speed, and I've got the drum running perfectly. I only needed a very slight tweak. Like I say, I think it has been adjusted before, but and I'll start this. I only have one adjustment, and Oh. I always wonder if I've got a control head issue. I control pulses. So that's too slow. I can't get it to lock. It's almost like when I do get it to lock, I lose. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, well. Am I dragging just muck around? Because that one still was really good. But sort of midway on the tracking, it's just awful. I haven't actually given it a proper clean yet. So it could well be just I need to give this a good clean. But that's playing fine. So obviously this has been adjusted to compensate for capacitors drifting. Probably when the heads were done. It's just been adjusted so it works again. Because this was a long way out. So that's the 3H cap free speed. Yeah. I don't think it's a head problem, even though it looks like they're pretty awful. I think it's just muck. But we shall see in the fullness of time. We do have the internal tracking. Tracking, track on, which is that one. So I don't expect this to make a huge amount of difference, to be honest. I'm just intrigued to see if that has been adjusted. Let's turn it back, right back the other way. So if I press pause, what happens? Oh, yeah, that perfect picture, don't be misled by that, that's the capture box dropping frames. I mean, it could well be just one chip is contaminated. I think it will be okay. I don't think we've got a heads problem other than it does need a good clean. So yeah, I'm going to put this back up now, give the deck a clean, and hopefully that will do the trick. So yeah, let's crack on. I just had to take the front loading system back out. Two slight issues after last night's session of getting this sorted. One was the glue. I put glue on this side and it somehow managed to slightly, as it fully dried, get into the actuator. So yeah, I just had to sort of just free that off. It was only ever so slightly stuck, but it was stuck. So it's doing exactly the same thing as the old switch. And the only other thing is the bit of extension that I used, it was slightly catching the cog, the edge of the cog. So I've just trimmed that off. So it is the right length now. And yeah, hopefully we'll be all good to go. But yeah, it was just causing it to sort of not sort of properly become actuated when it should be. It was sort of catching. So yeah, that's sorted now. But I just thought, no, not again. But yeah, all good to go. Well, that's possibly one of the dirtiest head drums. I mean, look at that. I've ever seen. I mean, just you can actually see the grooves in the actual disc, but that was really, really dirty. I've got most of it off, I think. I probably will. Well, I will give it another go anyway. But let's give it another try. Just start capturing. See if it's any better. Yeah, I do wonder if I've got problems still with well, let's press pause a few times. Yeah, you see it's capable. I think I've still got sort of control head issues. So yeah, let's do a... Yeah, you can hear it's not happy. But I think the heads are okay. I think it's just literally servo issues still, and not quite adjusted right. So yeah, oh, you can see the heads are clogging again. So I think I need to do a full tape path clean. Just do another adjustment and then see what it's like then. And then if still no good, then we'll have to look at the control pulse. Oh, quite what happened there. Control pulse signal, and yeah, to see what's going on, see why it's losing sync. Does seem a bit all over the place, doesn't it? But yeah, okay, let's crack on. Well, it's looking really, really nice. I'm so pleased with this, but we still do have picture issues, and if I just start capturing the whole tape path was really, really dirty. I mean, it's probably one of the dirtiest I've seen, to be fair. And after a considerable time cleaning, especially the drum itself, you can see I'm getting some sort of image there, and the good frames are good. But obviously, I mean, I've got one head chip that must be pretty badly, I think it's just contaminated. Looking at the head chips close up, they are really, I mean, you can see strands of fluff. I mean, I wonder if somebody at some point has actually cleaned it with cotton wool buds. And like I say, since then I've tried all sorts of tricks to try and get rid of the fluff. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some more shots of the head chips, and I'll put those up now, and yeah, just to see if I've managed to actually clear the fluff. And if that's the case, then probably we've got an issue with the actual head chips themselves, but the chips look fine. So yeah, I'll do that next. Yes, those head chips are still pretty contaminated, or one of them is anyway. Like I said, I think they both look fine, but let's give them another quick clean. I was sort of debating whether one of them did actually have a little bit of damage on it, but Yeah, you can see from the captures dropping frames, but yeah, just adjusting the tracking, trying to get something. It's just so bad. So okay, well, I'm going to leave this one here. We have a fully working machine other than the heads. I'm really pleased with the machine. I do have some new heads, and I have some good used heads, and I possibly might consider changing the whole drum, to be fair, but I'm going to weigh that one up, and then we'll return to this and just concentrate on basically getting the heads sorted and finally getting it to play tapes properly. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this one. Not quite a fully finished machine, but yeah, we're 90% of the way there, I suppose. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe would be fantastic as well. Lots more to come up. Even got some VHS goodness to come up soon as well. So stay tuned for that. Bye for now.